Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a video and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Today, I'm privileged to welcome a very, very accomplished entrepreneur and marketer from Krakow, Beata. Beata, welcome to the show.
Welcome, Ash. Thank you for the invitation,
Thank
and
you.
it's nice to be your guest.
Thank you. Beata is the co-founder and managing partner in Project People, Project Values, and she is the CEO of Hermes and Partner. So, Beata, tell me, what would you say are three key milestones in your life or your career?
When I was very young, like 19, I joined one of the biggest Polish domain register, nazwa.pl. And when I was 24, I became the marketing director there.
Wow.
So I led the team of 30 people, very, very skilled and competent. And I was very, very young. And that was the moment when I decided that I do not have leadership skills. I can't manage people as good as I want to do that. And I decided to left.
Okay.
And that was one of the biggest steps in my career. I designed then my professional path for the future. And I decided that when I will be 30, I will open my own company. And I designed the path, what I want to accomplish during those 6 more years to those 30 my 30 birthday.
Okay.
And there were a couple of steps I needed to accomplish. I want to learn leadership. I want to learn how to manage people properly. I want to learn how to run my own company, how to accelerate the business, how to scale it up. So that was one of the biggest steps. People told me that I'm stupid, that I'm living, the very good place to grow as a manager, as a leader, and decide to step down and start learning from the very beginning. But I believe that was the very good step in my career path, and I appreciate what I learned there, definitely. But yeah, leaving it give me some space to learn new things and to not be, defined as a manager, as a leader, from only one perspective, from perspective of one company.
Okay.
That was the one big milestone, the key milestone in my career.
Right.
The second one was also connected with leaving the workspace, because when I left the Lunar Logic company, I do 3 months sabbatical. Sabbatical is some longer break, to think about your career path, to define yourself as a new person, let's say, to do some break. And I do that right before I open my own company. And I decided to join 2 acceleration programs, Google Launchpad and the work program from T-Mobile, as a mentor and as a co-organizer.
Okay.
And it gives me it gave me the very broad perspective of how startup world look like, how startups are growing, what is needed to find investor or find the right business partners to grow your company. It was very short, it was only 3 months to get those lessons learned, but it was very condensed, and I really appreciate those days, this time.
Okay.
And the third is obvious from my perspective, is the moment when I opened the Project People company. It was my dream from the very beginning, as I mentioned, and those almost 5 years when I'm the CEO and co-owner taught me a lot. I believe I grow as a person. During those years, I also become a mother twice, so it also changed my perspective, definitely. So those 3 moments were crucial. But I believe if you will ask me like 3 years from now or 5 years
Oh, I'm sure they will
from
change.
now,
Yeah,
it will change definitely, because
I agree.
I can see that those moments are like every 5 years is changing something in our life. Right now is also a moment of big change in my life, as I become a CEO of two more companies after my dad's passed away.
Oh.
So it changed also my perspective, my perception of management, of my role as a CEO, and I also changed the perspective as a leader, because I used to cooperate with young people, with startuppers, with entrepreneurs, and right now I'm also a leader for more experienced employees. So it's also changing my the way I work and I think.
Okay. So let's now move on and let's talk about the project for people and values.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about the project.
Project People is the lean strategy agency. We are almost 5 years on the market, working with both startups and corporates. From startup sides, it's, for example, Brainy, that could be recognizable in India also. From corporate side, it's, for example, ING Bank, it's T-Mobile, it's National Netherlands, and so some very big companies. And we help them to define their business and marketing strategies. I established the company together with Journal Staffing, it's my co-founder. Right. And during those almost 5 years, we gained more than 160 clients from all over the world, exactly from 16 countries. So for me, it was a lot. It's a great experience. Right now, we have 21 people on board, and during those years we usually we achieve 200 growth year to year. So it was like a roller coaster, as you can assume. Probably we grow. We had chaos sometimes in the company, because it was very, very fast. In 2019, we did some short like not break, but we decided to calm down, to not to grow that fast, and we put our attention to processes, to making the business stable, to not to grow that rapidly.
So tell me, what exactly do you do in the project? Do you support startups?
We support startups and corporates to define their business and marketing strategies.
Okay. And
so we define new products, new services, the business models for them. We also help them to define the marketing and sales strategy, and design the product also from the UX and UI side.
Okay. So if I'm a startup entrepreneur in Krakow and I come to you and I say that Beata, you and your colleagues help me design a strategy, what is the process you will follow?
We will start with getting to know better you and your team. So we'll start with kickoff workshop and workshop with the analyze of your business model on business model Canva or Lean Canva. Then we'll do some interviews with you and your team. We are calling it in-depth interviews. So we have some, let's say, scenarios, some hypotheses, what we would like to know. Then we are analyzing the data you have on board. So some data about sales, marketing, about internal processes. We are looking for problems we should solve to let the company grow. The crucial part is the next one. So we are in every product, in every process, we are doing the user research, we are doing customers research. So we are going for some workshops with your clients, with your customers. We do some focus groups. We do some IDIs.
I understand. Now tell me, when you are talking about startup entrepreneurs, you said you currently have more than 20 people who work with you, and you must have worked with more in the past. Based on your experience, what are some of the big mistakes a lot of startup entrepreneurs make?
Oh, it's a long story to be honest. There is a couple of mistakes. The first one is that they work for the company, and you probably know this book, the Entrepreneurship Myth, or E-Myth is in English, the title, where we can see the patterns from the McDonald's company, and they are analyzing how they grow. And I believe that the biggest problem of companies, of startups, that the owners or founders are not thinking strategically. They do not think about the growth of the company, how it scale up, but they're working there physically and on the a very operations level. Yeah, that's the first mistake I believe they do. The second one thing, they are doing things that do not sell. So first of all, when you think about startup, you need to sell the idea. First of all, to investors, to clients, to show the value to possible customers, to possible investors. And startups are mostly focused on creation of the product or the service of the offer, but not to communicate to the possible clients and customers and investors and partners. That's the second mistake. The third one, I believe, is that they do not talk to their customers, so they do not know their needs, their problems, what is in their hearts. They do not know what is in their heads, how they're deciding, how they're choosing partners or products, and that's crucial for growth.
Very interesting. So, when you are designing a strategy, today's market is predominantly digital, right? Between multiple platforms, what are the key components of a marketing strategy for a startup from a digital perspective?
It's a hard question. I believe those are the same components when we are talking about traditional platforms and about digital ones. It's always about defining the problem solution fit. So thinking about what problems my customers have and how I'm solving it. What is my solution for their pains? Yeah. What they can gain? What is the value we are delivering? What we can bring to the table when we are giving our product, our service, so we are serving it. It's about the so I talk more about the target group, persona, and unique value proposition. But from the other side, you need to have processes in place. So some marketing and sales funnel are precisely defined and designed. You need to think about execution and people on board that should be skilled. So if we think like more holistically, those components are the same for digital and for traditional channels. Going to execution is quite different because in digital, new channels are opened for the entrepreneurs definitely, and while advertisement in TV shows or product placement there or showing up in radio or in other channels like that is challengeful from the perspective of money and from the perspective of delivery. Let's say, because you need to have very high quality materials and it's costful too. From the other side, in digital, you could be even a very small company, even one entrepreneur in the team, and you can run ads, you can gain customers from digital, and it's very cheap and it's very accessible. So the channels will change, the cost will be changed, the marketing funnel will be quite different because you will use the different channels in them, but some like the whole strategy won't change. The strategy should be the same.
Very interesting. And in your work, you must be using a lot of technology.
Definitely.
So how is technology changing communication, the strategy for communication?
it's a question about about the past and the future. We are in a very like, let's say, interesting time right now, because we finished 2020, where we finished the era of new technologies, new information systems, new software, and we are coming to the time where a relationship, where people are more important than technology. So we are in the breaking point in the history, let's say. So from the perspective of 2020, what technology is changing in advertisement and in the world, it's a lot of things. It's the way we communicate, how we can measure our communication with our customers. It's changing that we can particularly go to every customer, and we know that this very person, you saw this ad, and you saw this, let's say, communication in social media, this post in Facebook. You read this article, and we know that as a customer, you had the particular number of touch points with our brand. We can count it. We see that, and we can. We have a lot of knowledge about your behaviors, about your needs, and about your habits. So we can force you to make some decisions in terms of buying products or services.
Okay.
From the other side, people are perceiving that as a not that good process. We saw the social media, social network movie in the Netflix, and we can see that people are seeing that as the social media technology in general are taking control of their life, so they're trying to escape that. So we are, in a very interesting time in the technology path.
For our listeners and viewers, can you give me an example of any one business that you supported and what you did without taking names of the company? I mean, I don't want the names of the company.
Any business I helped.
And what you did for it to grow its business?
Oh, obviously, it's a lot. I can tell you the names. Obviously, first of all, we for example built the cryptocurrency exchange that is helping to revolutionize the finance market in the world. That's one thing. So we define for them the marketing and business strategy. We define for them we did some customers research for them. We designed the whole platform from the marketing and UI. So design perspective, we designed the whole content that was put on the platform, and we helped them to launch the product and market it to gain new customers, etc. So that's one product and one company we have. From the other hand, we helped one of the biggest telecommunication corporation to polish the customer service for new products. So we designed the new offer for millennials, for new generation of people who are coming to the market, and we changed the way they show their products, show their offer, how it's presented, what is the messaging of the offer, what is the messaging of the ads, etc. So that's the second one. But we are also serving smaller services. For example, for one of the Polish startups, we designed the employer branding strategy where they need to grow very fast. They were scaling up, so we needed to find double the team in 3 weeks. So we designed the whole strategy that how they can do that, how they can attract very skillful new employees from the IT and technology side.
Okay, very interesting. So, Beata, I'm now going to move the last segment of our conversation, which is questions for you personally. My first question is that, you're doing so much amazing stuff and looking at all the great stuff you're doing, what does success mean to you?
Uh, you already know that I'm the mother, so I have two wonderful boys in my home. They are growing very fast, let's say. So the success for me is to, first of all, leave for them some businesses I will build, and that they will have a good start in their life from the not only financial side, but also from the possibilities side, so that they will have the possibilities to choose what they want to do, and they will have this, this ground, this let's say some base that they can build on. That's the one thing. And that has also the second part of definition of the success for me is that I wanna have time for them. So I do not wanna. I do not want to that work will dominate my life. I wanna build independent businesses, and I'm trying to build independent services. So I will have time to see how they grow, how they are, progressing, how what is interesting for them, so I can have time for them. And working for corporates or working for big companies, as you probably know, it's not giving such a freedom. Sure. I believe only own companies are giving it.
Very interesting. So I have time for two more questions for you. My next question is that, you work with so many young startup founders. What is the most exciting thing about your work?
It's about observing the growth from both organizational and individuals' perspective. When I can see the young leaders who, they are coming to us and they have only the idea, and after half a year, for example, a couple of months, we can see the real product that is bringing value to the market and is succeeding. It's awesome to see that. That's one part which is very, very, very interesting in my work and satisfying. And being in the business for almost 15 years, let's say, I can see guys who start working with me, who I help as a mentor or as a leader or as an entrepreneur, and they are now very successful entrepreneurs, or they are very successful young leaders, and it gives me satisfaction that I can help them, and I can just help, maybe not learn, but just help.
And my last question to you now is that, thousands of people will listen to our conversation. What would you advise a young individual who's starting off as a startup entrepreneur?
Start with strategy. Start with thinking about processes. Start with the vision how your company should look like in 10 years from now. People are starting with the basic things like what they are doing right now, but starting with vision is giving you the power. The long perspective on what you are doing, and it's absolutely changing the way you work, what you are doing, and absolutely changing your everyday decisions, because you are taking them having this vision in your mind.
Okay. Beata, thank you very much. It's been such a pleasure speaking to you. I've enjoyed everything that you've said, and I'm sure our listeners and viewers will love it. Thank you again.
Thank you, Ash. I hope I helped some young entrepreneurs, some young leaders to grow and to find their path.
I'm sure they will. Thank you again. Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.